Okay, wonderful. Welcome again to the class. Time is moving very quickly. Today I'm going to talk to you about the group project topics. I know I briefly touched on the group project topics last week, but this is going to be a PDF form that I'm going to include in the Canvas. You can actually take a look. So what is it? Basically, what you're going to be doing is this. There's 4 group project topics, and all of you sent me your preferences on topics as well as your group partner or partners preferences. And what I did was you will know your partners today. You can start working on it. You'll have an opportunity to let me know that if you want to work alone due to your schedule, you can do that as well. But the decision has to be made today. You can move forward because the group projects are going to act as your case studies that you saw in your syllabus to make things easier. Okay, what are they? The group project, the first topic is marketing, a mission, and first year experience. What does that entail? What that entails is this. I'm going to go into each of the topics first, what the titles are, and then go into the details in a bit. The second topic is retention, qualifying exam, and graduation. All of these will include a budget aspect of it because it's a finance class. Operation of departments, school, university, community, and international settings. And then the fourth topic is development of education doctorate program. I know a lot of people ask me what's the difference between a PhD and doctorate in education, for instance. It's EED. And those are the 4 topics that you will be assigned as a group project. The whole project is actually going to focus on UIW. It's going to focus on our school, our department. That's the case study that we're kind of looking at. And this will give you an idea. Those of you who've been in the program for a while, it'll be an eye opener. Those of you who just started the program, you'll get some idea of what the program is and what an ideal, if we didn't have any budgetary constraints, for example, what can we do if we were awarded, for example, McKinsey from Amazon, she awarded a lot of funding, right, to Alamo community colleges, and I did not see any funding for the 4-year university yet, but we'll have to see, right? Microsoft and Elon Musk, all these people with lots of money have opportunities to donate. The presentation as a group project is roughly going to be 20 to 22 minutes. If you have 3 people, for instance, each one of you will talk about approximately 7 minutes or so. If you have 2 people, it's about 10 minutes each, right? The format, you're going to use a visual, either use PowerPoint, Google Slides. Some people use Prezi. You can use Canva. It has another feature. Depending on what you want to do, you need to use some visual aid because this class is conducted in Zoom. We need some visual aid. And those of you who are in group 1, marketing, admissions, and first year experience, this is what you're going to be uncovering about UIW. The first aspect of the group project is marketing plan, competitive analysis, meaning who are our competitors? Pick 2. It's going to be faith-based as well as probably UTSA would be another one, right? Would be our competitor. what is our branding and messaging, and then market channels. What do you think we're doing so far? And what can we do in the future? So if money was not an object, what can we do? The marketing plan, for instance, is what's happening now and then what needs to happen. Another thing is a mission process. What is the eligibility criteria? Is it noted on the website? For instance, for our program, I don't want you to look at the eligibility for undergrads. I want you to look at our studies department. What's the eligibility criteria, application process, and assessment criteria? Is it well defined on the syllabus, or not the syllabus, the website? Are you, from your experience, is it pretty clear? You can, all of you had to apply. You can let us know what you think and what should be happening, right? And then first year graduate experience. Is there an orientation, for instance, for the graduate student department, for instance? A lot of times, I know for me, this is my 13th university, believe it or not, because of the thank you military. I've had the pleasure of being employed at so many different universities. Even faculty, for instance, the employee orientation is very different for, let's say, I worked at a community college, I worked at for-profit, nonprofit, 4-year, tier 1, tier 3, in United States, Europe, wherever. There's all these differences. I want you to find out, or if you know, if there's a first year graduate experience, is there an orientation? Do you know the student support services and social and extracurricular activities that you are aware of? This is kind of a fact-finding mission of, what's here and what's the finance part of it, right? After you do the market, admission, and first year experience, the budget, right? Of course, it's a private institution. None of this is actually going to be available per se. Therefore, by looking at what's happening now, the actual cost, and then we'll go over this today because in your textbook, for instance, on page 71 and 73 and 74, you'll see table 3.1 and 3.2 has the budgeted line of the column and what's actually happening. The budget, for instance, that you're allocating is, if money was no object, what would be an ideal cost of marketing? What's the Cadillac version or the Mercedes or Lamborghini, whatever your pleasure is, the high end, and what you think is happening in terms of your expertise. I think all of us in this room have so much experience that the actual budget, like I said, is not going to be, I'm not going to go back and then be like, oh no, social marketing, Google ads, costs, $94 and you put, 120 or $34. It's just a guesstimate. Personnel costs, meaning how much do you think it would cost? And then technology and infrastructure in terms of the marketing and mission and the first year experience. That's your presentation. The case study is our department and what, if money was no object, what would it be? Because, like, for instance, if I were to ask you, what is our brand for our department? Can anyone tell me? Let me pause, resume. For this particular group 1 project, because technology is a big thing, you will have to kind of look at what, especially if, for instance, you can figure out the personnel cost as well as some of the equipment that you may be needing, because a lot of times for social media, people are doing on mobile, but you need computers. Maybe there may be a space that you need to have for people too. And you just have to justify your budget, meaning if we have some questions about it, as long as you have justification, we'll give you the benefit of doubt. And we're going to learn about different types of budgeting that you'll see in chapter 3. And we'll talk about whether or not it's performance based or is it program based, all or none, zero balance, etc. There'll be different types of budgeting that you can do, but you don't have to do all of them whatsoever. Okay. This is a group project that you're going to be working on with your group. And if you have any questions, let me know. Those are the 3 areas. As a group, what you need to do is either divide and conquer, or if there are people in the group who's better in budgeting than anyone else, then you will have to figure out how to go about gathering the initial information. You can ask as many questions, and whatever information I can provide for you, I will provide. But if I can, I'll let you know. Okay. That's the first project. The second project is retention, qualifying exam, graduation, and alumni. A qualifying exam usually applies to the doctoral program, but there are some qualifying exams, or it could be a thesis proposal defense, for example, for the master's as well. But because we're looking at our program, those are things that we're looking at: retention, qualifying exam, graduation, and alumni. What am I talking about? When we look at retention programs, we want to look at student support services. Like I said, we're not talking about the whole university or even the school. We're just looking at our department. That's it. Just the department. Design. How do you understand the design? You can just base it off of the internet, or if you happen to be in the doctoral or the master's program, which all of you are, you can look at, each one of you can look at your plan or design that you've had in the past. And student engagement, meaning what kind of engagement do you have with each other, faculty, etc. Those are the 3 components that you're looking at for the retention. The qualifying exam, what do you understand to be the format? Remember, this semester, the director of the qualifying exam as well. Those information I can provide for you. You let me know. Exam format. If you look at all the doctoral programs in the United States, the qualifying exam is conducted differently. Meaning there's a qualifying exam where you spend 4 hours writing, 4 hours doing oral on your track, for instance. For me, like public health, I had to recite all the public health theories within my discipline and then have different scenarios, both written and oral. And I had to talk about all methodology that could be used in public health many, many years ago. And things may have changed. And then in our program and other programs, you're looking at your prospectus, your research project, or your dissertation project that you're going to be doing after your qualifying exam. So that's another format. What kind of format is it? Assessment criteria. Is it pass, no pass? And then exam administration. How are they administered? Is it in person, hybrid, or via virtually, or it's very flexible? And then the graduation. I don't know if there's information that's offered. For instance, you can extrapolate, for example, from the graduation, because all the dissertations for the graduations are listed during each of the commencement, meaning how many people graduate, what are the degree requirements, and then commencement ceremony, like how many people on average usually graduate, for instance.